Hello and welcome to another episode of the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 130. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to provide your products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This week, I got... we do not have TJ and we do not have Steven, but we do have everyone else, and we even picked up a newbie. We got Steven. How's it going, Steven?
Oh, it's going great.
And so, basically, process of elimination. We got Rob, we got Chad, we got Tony. How's it going?
Awesome.
Hey, guys.
Spectacular.
Yeah, it's been an awesome week, and I can't wait to tell you guys about mine. But I will let Steven introduce yourself a little bit more, tell people about the podcast you're from and your experience.
I'm Steve, and I'm from the Off-Road Podcast. So actually, I got to go record. Well, I'm going to stay here and record my podcast after this one, I think. So that's what I do. And other than that, I'm just kind of I'm an amateur hobbyist, I guess you could put it that way, with firearms. So I like to shoot, and that's about it.
Sweet. Well, thanks for joining us on this one. And did you do anything on guns this week?
Nope, not this week. I had my fill last week, so I gotta take a couple days off.
Sweet. All right, Tony, did you do anything guns this week?
This week, yeah, I bought a Pierce grip extension and put it on my Glock.
And found that they're awesome, right?
Oh yeah, they're awe-inspiring. Yeah, I'm a little angry. It fell off when I showed it to you guys before the show. It's a horrible piece of garbage. I'll just live with getting my fingers pinched when I shoot my Glock. Or I'll have some work done by Les over at Schaefer Precision Gunworks. He's one of the sponsors of the Stone Mountain Shoot. I'm gonna take my Glock up and see if he can do something to it to make it not pinch my hand and make me cry like a wimp.
Sweet. I got just the thing for you, and Chad sent me this in the mail. It's a Suguru. It's like this bubble gum, but you let it dry overnight after you mold it, and it hardens into rubber. Put this around your grip with your magazine, and it'll fill the gap. We're trying to come up with all sorts of ideas of how to use this thing. And I think we just got a good one.
Yeah,
I guess we got to precious hands.
Send Tony some, I guess.
Yeah. So Chad, what have you been up to in guns besides fixing my parts?
That pretty much about sums it up. I mean, I get a package from Ryan to fix his stuff, and he sends me some patches, or should I say Patriot Patch sent me patches for doing it. But really, in guns, that was pretty much it. I did stuff with, cars and other stuff like that, so not guns.
Sweet. And Rob, how you been doing, man?
I have been awesome, man. Couldn't be better if I was twins. I haven't done a whole lot in guns. I haven't done a whole lot in guns over the last week and a half. I've been too busy wrapped up with other stuff with friends, family, and whatnot. But and the big thing I'm doing is we're getting ready for the Triangle NRA Friends of the NRA banquet that's going to happen on May 10th. So I've been wrapped up getting ready for that banquet, helping them out with the planning, preparations, all that good stuff, to raise some money for local shooting ranges and shooting sports and stuff like that. So that's been my main focus for last week and for the next 2 weeks.
Cool. Yeah, I just finished the patch artwork for that, getting that triangle logo just right.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun. So that leaves me. Boy. All right. So I got some show and tell for you guys. First, big props to Chad. This is what he had done for me. See this muzzle? I guess you call it a blast diffuser because it's not a break, it's not a comp. All the craze these days is getting blast diffusers on your guns to throw the recoil and the concussive stuff forward. I basically wanted something on my 9mm my SBR here, so that when I am not using the suppressor on it, because my handguard overlaps my barrel, I wanted something to kind of overcome that overlap, and I didn't really want it to divert gas or anything like that. It's just 9mm, not a big deal. So I found this on Amazon, and I'll have to look up the specific name for it. It's an Angry Boar muzzle device from Roush Sports. So I got it, and then for some reason it just wouldn't fit on this barrel. The threading was weird. It's 1/2 by 28, and it fit on literally every other barrel I own that's 1/2 by 28 except this one. This one from Ballistic Advantage. So I measured the threads, and Chad had mentioned it before, like, oh, I've got a die for that. So I just mailed it down to Chad, and would you just chase the dies? Is that all you did?
Yeah, I just ran it. I have a half 28 2A tap. I just ran it through, and it pulled a little bit of metal out, and I was like, measured it, and it seemed within specs, so I just left it and sent it back to you.
Yeah. So then when I got it back, of course, I got some more awesome stickers and this Sugru stuff that I got to figure out what I'm all going to do with. But it threaded onto the barrel perfectly. Like, it literally would not go on even a half of a rotation, and now it goes snug all the way down by hand. I don't really plan on using a crush washer or anything like that because it was really snug by hand. So I just found it odd that it was out of spec enough for this barrel, but it literally fit everything else I owned. So anyway.
So the barrel's 1/2 by 28 too?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting, but I'm pretty proud of this SBR now. It's like my middle finger to like the SIG MPX.
Hey, wait a minute. I resent that remark.
Hey.
My SIG is getting mad.
Fanboy fights.
It uses every Glock 9mm magazine. Like the Glock 26 10-rounders, check. The 33-rounders, check. Everything in between, check. It's great.
Well, you're just jealous because you don't have to go out and buy a $70 magazine. So, nah.
Yeah, exactly.
Does the 100-round drum fit in it?
I don't have a 100-round drum, but I do have a 50-round drum. The only thing is that it's meant for a Glock 17, so it actually hangs down really low. So it's kind of weird. Like, if they made a 50-round drum for Glock 19s, it would at least show it up a little bit. It's just unusual how low it sits down on the magwell. But that's what I had Chad do for me.
Because the only thing I've noticed is my SIG, they did a 13.5 left-hand thread, and they said that was so you wouldn't accidentally stick an AR muzzle brake at the end of the barrel.
Yeah.
And blow your barrel off. But
it's just
that 50-round drum, I don't know if you tried it. I tried the 50-round drum on my Sub 2000, and every time I tried to rest it to get a better, more accurate shot, if you can, with a Sub 2000, it became a jam-o-matic. So. Exactly, and I tried the same thing with my my Glock 17. I put in the Glock 17, and every time I rested it on the bench, it would just jam. The gun would jam. So
is that Korean SGM drum magazine?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't used it.
It needs a Pierce grip extension.
Right. Okay, so that's what I did in guns. But this is what I wanted to show you guys. Let me move the camera here. You see this little guy, this little mother effer? I stepped on this with my bare ass foot on Friday. Good Lord, that hurt. It went deep. It's my fault for being barefoot, but I was doing some spray painting in the yard, and the sun was moving, so I was just moving my stuff kind of further into the sun so it'd dry faster, and I put all my weight down on my right foot and caught this guy. So I'm renting, and this place, the landlords told me that they had some work done on the roof about a year and a half ago. So this is clearly a roofing nail. It's covered in rust, by the way.
Dude, that thing would have gone through a shoe.
Yeah, and I wasn't wearing a shoe. So I had to hobble into the bathroom, hobble into the bathtub, turn on the water. I got the only red rag I could find because I knew there was going to be blood. And I had to try and pull this thing out. It took me 15 minutes to pull it out. Like, I had to just grip it and rip it because it was in there deep. So I've been basically nurturing my wound, keeping my leg up, playing Xbox, and it magically it's healed. It's almost 100%. I'm about like 80% now, just in time.
Drinking lots of beer, right?
What's that?
Lots of beer, right?
Yeah. So, and I was supposed to go on a road trip with my fiance to Spokane for a work thing for her, and then I was gonna go bug Zach Carlson at Lone Wolf while I was there. So all those plans got kiboshed. Luckily, her mom went with her, so I didn't have to worry too much about her driving by herself. So I am wearing this Iowa state flag patch in her honor. So to my future mother-in-law, thank you so much. She's a listener, so I definitely want to send props her way for taking care of her. And then she made sure that I got some stuff. They brought me back pad thai from my favorite restaurant where we used to live a year ago. So that was great. And she bought me some shirts and the pants too. So awesome there.
So when's the tetanus kick in?
Pretty much.
Well, luckily, I checked my records, and I had my tetanus shot, I think, in 2013, so I'm still covered.
Oh, good.
You keep your records handy?
Yeah, I will say.
You know,
Yeah,
the first time you
the
step on a
shot
rusty
vessel.
nail and you don't know when was the last time you had your records done because you can't find the records, you learn. This is not my first nail, folks.
Yeah, he makes a habit of this.
Yeah,
I was just in the
so-
chiropractor the other day, and they was like, well, when was the last time you did this? And I was like, I don't know what I did this morning.
Wait a minute. You've done that several times, and you own firearms. What's wrong with this picture?
Well, I've had it gone through shoes before. You know, and I've never stepped on one this rusty, so I'm keeping it for posterity or for insurance purposes. Either way, it has to go. But this thing is just gnarly. I'm fortunate nothing broke off. It didn't get infected. It actually healed quite well. You know, I'm glad that I was able to stay here and take care of it versus be stranded in like Spokane trying to hobble my way around.
So you could have gone to the hospital. They'd have given you some really, really good stuff to numb the pain.
Yeah, except me and hospitals don't really get along, and also me and health insurance haven't really spoken in quite a while, if you know what I mean. So that was not an option. So anyway, that's enough about what I did this week. I'm getting ready for the machine gun shoot, packing my stuff up. About a couple days, I'll be flying over to the great city of Chicago. I can't even say it with a straight face. And then me and Jake are gonna road trip it over to Pennsylvania for a couple days. So we're gonna get to know each other quite well. Yeah. He texted me a picture of Dumb and Dumber when they're riding on the moped. He's like, "Are you ready for a road trip?" And I was like, "If we run into a Hawaiian Tropics tour bus, let me do the talking."
You'll tell them the town's back there.
Yeah, right. So anyway, into the announcements. Bandwidth sponsor for this podcast is brought to you by Patriot Patch Co. Speaking of which, so we got some new patches on the website. We've got the Sci-Fi 2-patch pre-order bundle. If you're a fan of the Firefly series or even the movie Serenity, you'll recognize the I Aim to Misbehave with Captain Reynolds, or the I Am a Leaf on the Wind, Watch Me Soar with the Serenity Firefly class spaceship. So we got that 2-patch bundle for $20. We've also got Don't Keep Calm, Just Kill Them All, and It's Dangerous to Go Alone, Take This, the AUG edition. So make sure you guys check that out. We also still have the Gun Collective bundles for the Guntrepreneur and the Gun Collective t-shirt, as well as the patch and the shirt for Guntrepreneur. So those are available. And then also, if you happen to own a gun shop, like if I have any listeners out there that own their own store and they like to carry some awesome shirts and patches that we've designed at Patriot Patch Co., we have a dealer-exclusive line. It's kind of hidden. So if you go to the website, go down to the bottom and you'll see a dealer's link. Click on that and you'll see some awesome patches that you can carry exclusive in your shop from us. So that's it for Patriot Patch Co. We're going to have a booth at the Stone Mountain Machine Gun Shoot coming this weekend, so April 30th through May 1st. Make sure you stop by and buy some of our swag before you use all your money renting machine guns and buying ammo and shooting suppressors and 50 cals and going on zip lines. All sorts of crazy stuff going on there.
I was going to do the zip line, and then I changed my mind.
Yeah?
Yeah, 500-pound dude swinging from the zip line, not cool.
Well, I'll leave that one alone. So we got that. We also got the NRA show later on in May. We've got a listener meetup. So at the Cardinal Hall of Fame, Saturday, May 21st at 7 p.m. There's going to be lots of Firearms Radio Network podcasters on there, so you can meet us, drink with us. If you can say ambidextrous as well as Jake Challand, he'll buy you your first drink. It'll be all sorts of fun. So
Jake's going to be buying a lot of drinks?
Well, I want to know who's going to be the judge, because if he's the judge, then of course he's going to think he's saying it right all the time. But I don't know. We'll see. So that's it for the announcements. So on to the product spotlight. I got some good stuff to talk about this week that I'm excited about. First up, we got 3 new holsters from Comtac. And I'm a little bit personally invested because I actually did the logo for the Q line, is what these holsters are called, and I've been helping out Comtac with ads for their holster line and things like that. So, but I thought, hey, I should talk about these on the podcast because from a unbiased perspective, they're actually pretty neat. So there's 3 holsters in the Q line. They go by the names QB, QH, and QI. So they're both, or all 3 of them are, we'll see, the QB is $50, the QH is $48, and the QI is $45. So we'll start with the QI. It's an all Kydex inside the waistband holster. And the thing with the Q line that's so special is it's kind of brings about a level of modularity. They use the gun shell shapes are kind of a little bit more broader to fit different guns. So they've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 shell shapes for the QI, 4 for the QB. Was it still 4 for the QH? Yeah. So basically, the shell number 1 will fit like all Glocks, all lengths, even the Glock 41, the 36, M&Ps, and not including the shields, of course, and the Walter PPQ and M2. Then you've got the CZ in the shell number 2, the MP45s, HK VP40s. Basically, there's 4 different shell sizes that fit a broad spectrum of gun types, and then you would then tighten down the hardware to make sure you get the right retention. So it's designed for multiple guns in mind. So back to the QI. This is an inside the waistband holster. Retention adjustment. You can adjust the cant 30 degrees either direction. It also is ambidextrous, so you can reverse the mounting block for left or right side carry. It accommodates up to 1/2-inch high night sights, suppressor sights, and rear sight mounted optics. That's awesome because if you've got an RMR on top of a handgun that's got suppressor height sights, you've probably had a tough time finding a holster for it, or don't even bother holstering it. This could help accommodate that. So there's the QI for $45. Let me just breeze through these other 2, and then I'll let you guys weigh in. The QB is an outside the waistband holster, and it's kind of more designed for competition use, but you can also use it for concealed carry all the same. It uses a quick detach that will work with a lot of different kind of belt attachment types. But the same thing with the shells. Whichever shell you get fits multiple different firearms in that same size category. It's got a push-button mount for fast, simple attachments to belts. Easy to adjust the belt width, locking button, and the multiple holes for 720 degrees of cant adjustment. And it's approved for use in all competitive shooting sports. The QH is a inside the waistband holster that you might be a little bit more familiar with how it looks. It's a leather-backed design. So it's basically an inside the waistband holster with the 2 clips kind of in the wing format, but it also brings the shell design into play. and that's $48. So what do you guys think of these?
I was looking into them when I saw them the other day when you sent the show notes, and I was looking. I'm like, hey, these look pretty cool. I mean, they don't put too many different sizes per shell, so it's not like your cheap fabric holsters where one size fits like 50 different guns. I mean, yeah, number 4 that fits the 1911s, yeah, okay, so it'll fit pretty much any 1911. So, and the Glocks kind of fits any Glock, but that's kind of cool because, if you're just kind of not sure what kind of holster you want, the price is right. It fits a couple different guns. I mean, if you have like the QB one that's the outside the waistband, I mean, for a lot of shooting sports, USPSA, IDPA, stuff like that, you might want to shoot a couple different guns, and in that case, you might only need one holster, which is pretty cool. Didn't have any ones that particular models that I was interested in, but hey, I kind of like the clip on the QI, which is the inside the waistband one. It looks wide enough that it's not gonna, wobble too much on your belt. I don't know about the QH. Well, I think I might just buy one of theirs that is the normal per fit per gun, but to each their own. It's kind of the same type of deal. Be good for dealers to keep in their store because especially like put a number 1 and number 4 in there, so you cover most Glocks and most 1911s. You're pretty much set on selling holsters.
Yeah, definitely would make retail a lot easier.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I look at something like this for myself when I have the pre-B CZ75. Trying to find a holster that fits that is darn near impossible. I'd already contacted a custom maker to get that done. And this is actually less expensive than actually getting it done custom. So I might be going this route because no one else has. I mean, my firearm is no longer made. You know what I mean? They changed it up. And I don't know if a regular CZ75 holster would fit it. So something like this would be good. I don't see a lot of Browning high-power holsters or like, what's the other one? Star is another big seller now. The Star B pistols. So, I mean, if you're someone that has stuff like of weird size, I mean, not a weird size, but just not that popular, but really close to something else, I think these holsters will fit and do you good.
Yep.
Yeah, they
And
don't like FN.
go ahead, Rob.
I said they don't like FN. I just noticed they don't have any holsters that fit my FN9. So, but I mean, they got holsters for all the popular stuff: Glock, M&P, Walther.
Right, and I'm not sure if they just didn't list all of them because the holster number 3 that fits the Glock 43, the Shield, the PPS. I'm pretty sure that might fit my SIG P938. It's just they didn't seem to list everything. So there might be a little bit of contacting them and finding exactly which one would fit your gun.
Or it might be they just might not have it'll fit it, but they just haven't tested it, and they don't want to put it on their website until they have time to test it and make sure it's going to work properly.
Right. So when they debuted these things at, I think it was it SHOT Show or NRA Show? Anyway, it sold like hotcakes. Yeah, it was crazy. So there's a lot of people in the professional shooting sports or people that have owned Comtech products that were pretty excited to see these come out. And it's kind of the thing of everyone that gets into owning guns and multiple guns and shooting, you'll just accumulate holsters. It's just something you do. And unless you buy like top of the line right off the bat, even still you would end up accumulating 1 or 2 because you just want to try something different. So this might help to remedy that because it fits multiple guns. You just get the different shells, and it should suit your needs a little bit better, being that it's got that broader fit versus, I've got my Glock 19 inside the waistband holster. Oh, now I've started carrying my Smith & Wesson M&P compact. I need to get a new holster for that. Oh, now I'm carrying my SIG P938. That's another holster. Got to get outside the waistband holsters for each of those when I want to go to the range and train with them. You can see how that starts to add up. And the fact that they're only asking basically under 50 for all these varying, but it could save you some money in the long run if you get the inside the waistband and whichever, if you shoot competitively, get the other one, and you're pretty much covered the QB and the QH. Before we move on, I also wanted to say that if you are at the newsstands and you happen to see, or if you still read magazines or buy magazines, the latest issue of Ballistic magazine, there's actually an ad in there of the Q line. I did that ad, and not to toot my own horn, but that's a pretty big deal for me. That's the first published trade ad in the firearms industry that I've done. So,
Go
psyched.
Ryan, go
Yeah.
Ryan.
Bought like 2 or 3 copies. I was like, sweet. Yep. So then moving on, this is another product that I'm extremely excited to tell you guys about. This is the IWI X95. This is the Tavor 2.0. So if you're not familiar, I have the Tavor original one, the TAR21. Bullpup polymer 5.56 with conversion kits. So after I finally scrimped and saved and bought my own, not even a whole year later, they came out with the version 2. Just my luck. For the same
Yeah, tell me
price,
about
no less. So for an MSRP of $1,999, which is exactly what that cost to get my Tavor, Gen 1, the X95 has some significant improvements from the past, the first version. So even though this is a Tavor, we're just going to call it the X95 to avoid confusion. And I'll call the old generation, which is the TAR21, we'll call that the Tavor. So the X95, it's got some significant improvements. They've moved the charging handle back so that you don't have to reach as far forward, even though it's a bullpup and you don't have to reach that far forward to grab that charging handle anyway because, you know, it's a bullpup. They actually moved the charging handle back, so it's a lot kind of easier to grab it without having to reach too far forward, a little bit closer to your face. There's also a thing where it kind of interfere with your rail on your front of your what you call the handguard. Basically, if you had the charging handle configured into the left hand configuration where you're pulling the charging handle on the Tavor with your left hand, on the opposite side where the port is for if you wanted to switch over to right side, that's where a rail is installed. So you can put a flashlight or whatever doodad you want on the right side. If you want to switch to your right side charging handle, you'd have to switch the rail or just leave the rail off both sides. Basically, it's impossible for you to have a flashlight mounted on the left side of the Tavor in its standard left-handed charging configuration. So with the X95, they move that charging handle back, which gives more real estate front, which is the handguard area, and there's actually a tri-rail system. So they've got integrated proprietary rail covers that look awesome as they are. They just sit there. They've got some ports on there and a little bit of ridging molded into the plastic. You push a button in, and you can slide that rail straight off the front toward the muzzle, and then exposes Picatinny rail. So that you can do that on the left, right, and bottom side. The bottom side kind of has a built-in molded hand stop. And it's even more pronounced than the Tavor on the X95. So all three of the left, right, and bottom rails have that button you can press to slide that rail cover off, exposing some Picatinny rail. So you can use your flashlights or whatever you want, more sling attachment. The second improvement that they did, well, actually, technically, this would be third since I already talked about the rails. So the third improvement is that they moved the magazine disconnect. Before, on the Tavor, it was kind of right in between the pistol grip and the magazine well, where your magazine went. It was kind of a secondary trigger that you either bump with the back of your hand or you'd get with your support hand. Some people really complained about that. They didn't like it, so they actually moved it to the front, similar, kind of like like an AR-15, where you could reach up with your index finger and get that magazine release button, and somehow through some kind of linkage travels back behind the handguard and the trigger to the magazine well to release it. From what I've seen in videos, it's almost a little bit too close to your hand, to where if you fully extend your finger, you probably have to like shore it up a little bit just to hit the button. And it does have kind of a wall built in there for you to kind of index and find that magwell button or that magazine release button without looking at it directly. So that's the third. The fourth one is they've made the grip more vertical in angle. And then the other improvement that I see, or just design change, I wouldn't call it an improvement necessarily, is the back of the Tavor. The lines, the profile of it is a lot more cleaned up. It doesn't have the scallops and the shape of the original Tavor, kind of where the trigger pack is. It's a lot more flat and boxier shape, and which kind of reduces the height of the overall butt pad. Still the same length as the original Tavor, the X95 is, but the back, the butt pad is a little bit smaller from top to bottom, and it's a lot smoother right there. I would say, before I let you guys go into it, that it just I like the original Tavor a little bit better, and I think some people will agree with me. It's kind of the design that I fell in love with as far as the overall shape and all the curves and lines in it. The new one, it's cool that they improved it in some ways, but I don't know if I'd be in a hurry to sell mine just to get the new version. I do know that I watched the Military Arms channel on YouTube. Tim's done a couple of videos on the X95 versus the Tavor, because as far as like YouTubers who've shot the Tavor, like I would say Tim is probably one of the higher reputable people to listen to and see what his thoughts are, because he compares the two side by side. He actually takes the internals out of one and puts it in the other to verify that, it still uses the same bolt components that you can take from the Tavor, put in the X95, it'll still work. So make sure you guys watch that video if you're interested in this. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I watched Tim's video. The X95 is the rifle Israel adopted in 2009. So pretty much you bought the Tavor as the M16, and they came out with the M16A1, and you're like, oh man, that sucks.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that was my first thought when I saw it at the SHOT Show this year. I went, ooh, I wish I went about mine already, but oh well.
And really it comes down to between the export and the improvements they made, it's kind of why you just don't buy the gun the first few years they're out, because usually they do some kind of improvements on them. But Tavor's a really nice rifle. I checked it out. I've handled them. I haven't shot one yet. But this looks like it's more ergonomic, set up more for people that run M16s, or at least with the positioning of some stuff. They changed it around. I think it looks cooler than the other one. But hey, it's just personal opinion. And
Yeah.
plus I'm not kicking rocks because I dropped $2,000 on one and it's the old one.
Hey, man, I got some steep discounts that you would have been awfully tempted had you been in my shoes, so I'm not too mad about it. If I ever sold mine, I know I'd make a profit. That's for sure.
I would have before this month.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to the X95 because I'm actually with Ryan on this. I like the looks of the old one better, but I do like the functions of the new one. The mag release, that's a big thing because, all us Americans are used to using our finger to drop magazines. I can understand why they made the pistol grip straighter, less of an angle, because heck, it's a bullpup. You're basically shooting it from your shoulder. I mean, you're sitting here like this. You don't want a pistol grip to raise your arm up, so
Yeah.
I can see that too. I mean, it makes sense. I think the improvements probably make it worth getting if you are in the market for something like that. Me personally, I'm kind of with Tony. I don't think I'd fork out the money for it, but steep discounts, no, I'll just wait till I win one.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't want to buy mine, but it just called to me and said, "Buy me, buy me, buy me." I said, "Okay."
That's what happens. You hear those voices too?
Yes, I do. Every time I walk into the gun store, and
oh, thank God, I'm not alone.
those guys that work behind the counter, they're so freaking evil. They walk in, they see me, they say, "Hey, I got something for you. Why don't you take a look at this?" Oh, I really don't need that AK shotgun, but I wound up buying it anyways because they gave me a good price on it. So, anyways, but it looks like the bolt release button, because on the Tavor 1.0, the bolt release button is a pretty big button on the bottom. I don't see the button. They must have like shrunk it or made it smaller or something.
Yeah. Well, and that's my biggest thing that I don't like about the Tavor is the bolt release or the bolt stop. Or sorry, bolt hold open. That's the word I'm looking for. When I'm showing somebody they're like, "Oh, cool, can I shoot that?" And I'm showing them, okay, here's the safety, here's the trigger, here's the charging handle. I'm trying to give them a brief rundown on the operation of the firearm. My brain goes, okay, it's time to tell them about the bolt release, and then I'm like, you know what? We're gonna skip that one because you don't need to worry about that because it's so problematic. The fact that you have to, unless you grow a third arm somewhere out of your hip, you have to charge the charging handle all the way rearward, hold it there. Take your your firing hand off the grip, and so it's kind of braced against your shoulder, and so you're reaching under to push up on that little teetering lever just to hold the bolt open. They need to fix that. That needs to be a lot more convenient.
I thought about that, and I guess the way I look at it, the only time it's a pain in the butt is when I run it in a local, like a rifle competition, because at the end they want you to drop the magazine, unload, and show clear, hold the bolt open, put the gun back in the rifle back in your case. But I guess if you're in a fight or flight situation and you're actively engaging or doing whatever you have to do to save your butt, I'm not going to be worried about holding the bolt open.
Yeah, it'll hold
or locking
open
the bolt to the rear
on
or
an
any
empty
kind of
mag, and then you can just put a new magazine in it.
Yeah.
But so it's just kind of a little bit more of a hectic from a like a teaching standpoint, and also at the range when they want you to lock it open, and you've got to you can't do it like on the bench. You have to brace it against your shoulder, or maybe doing it where it's like pointing straight up in the air, and there's a lot of ranges that don't like that.
Oh yeah, it's a pain. But hey, did you see? I didn't see the Tim video when you use the mag release button. Does the mag actually drop out fairly freely, or
yeah? The PMAG, he tried all different magazines, the Lancer, the PMAG, the Gen 3, the Gen 2, the drum mags. He tried them all just to see which ones would drop free, which wouldn't. I don't remember off the top of my head. You have to rewatch the video. But he did try the mags to see what ones worked and what ones didn't real well. The other thing that I forgot to mention that's a pretty big deal is the Tavor is like notorious for its terrible trigger pull. And most people give it a pass because they're all bullpups have trigger problems because you pull the trigger and it's got to push on some linkage, and the trigger and the hammer and the sear are farther apart, so obviously it's going to be a little bit more sluggish because you've got linkage running between them. Well, they've remedied that with a new trigger pack. So kind of like how you had to fork over $350 for a Geisy trigger pack just to get a better trigger weight. So IWI fixed that with their own trigger pack, and they're putting it in these new X95s, and you can buy it from them and put it in your Gen 1 Tavor. So they did fix that to where, for some reason, the engineering of the trigger pack itself, they optimized a couple things to make it just a smoother pull and lighter weight. So if you own a Tavor and your biggest thing is you hate the trigger pull and you don't want to fork over $350 to Geissele to get it to shoot better, I think the IWI one's it's under $200. I think it's $100 and something for that, and you can just swap out the trigger pack, and then you should be better off. But that does come with the X95, which is pretty useful, I'd say. So it looks like the QDs are in about the same spot. There's a QD port kind of just at the start of the Picatinny rail on the top. Other than that, it's still got the standard A2 bird cage flash hider on there. But I guess they got the rails on there, which is a big deal to most people. Probably the most dramatic thing is that you don't have to spend an extra $100 and something on a Manticore Arms or a Midwest Industries or any other kind of manufacturer to put an aftermarket rail system on there.
I'm cheap. I won't do that anyways.
Wait a minute.
I,
You're cheap, but you bought a $2,000 Devore.
I just spent $2,000 on a Devore. I'm cheap.
Okay.
Like Ryan said, I got mine at a good price.
Good price. Very nice.
Very good price. Yeah, this is very nice. Now, the one thing I did notice in the show notes, you might want to take a look at it. The link you put in the show notes, is for the police model. It's got the shortened barrel, the 11-inch barrel, and the fun switch on it. Because I'm looking at that going, oh, I so want that gun. Oh, wait, that's law enforcement.
Yeah, I said the same thing before the show. I'm like, yeah, I want the one they show in the picture with the selector switch.
Chad's contacting IWI, ordering like
with the happy switch.
I want what's in the picture. I want what's in the picture.
All right. Well, I fixed it now. That was quick.
I'm assuming you can change the charging handle to the other side, right?
Yeah, fully ambidextrous. And then also it will have later on the conversion kits for 9mm as well as 300 blackout. I know there's a lot of people excited for the 300 blackout conversion kit on these guns.
You know if they can do 300 blackout for the Devore 1.0?
They did, or I don't know if they released it. They said they were going to. I know the 9mm was out.
I mean, I looked at the 9mm and I said, why do I want to spend an extra $1,000 to shoot 9mm out of my Devore? I just didn't see the point.
Yeah.
My opinion only.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. So you guys check that out. I got the new link in the show notes. Of course, you can always browse their website for the law enforcement version if you really want to look at that happy switch on there. I thought that barrel looked a little short. Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah. So you guys check that out. Now, next, I even outdone myself, and I picked another bullpup to talk about. It's from Keltec, though, so try to contain your saliva, because as with Keltec, the rumor mills of, they only make so many guns, and yada, 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 and you've got a better chance of finding a Sasquatch riding a unicorn through a rainbow. The fact is that they are pumping out guns. They're making a lot. There's just a high demand, and they end up getting snatched off the shelves very quickly. So basically, this is the Keltec RDB-C. The RDB already exists. You probably already heard of it. It stands for, rifle...
Downward
ejecting brass is what that stands for, meaning that brass ejects downward through a port, as opposed to the RFB, which is forward ejecting brass. So they basically came out with a C version, which in an interview with Military Arms Channel, somebody from Keltec called it the compact version, but really it stands for California compliance, because it does not have a pistol grip. So that means this awesome bullpup can be yours in, I think, all 50 states, because if it doesn't have a pistol grip, it does not fall under those same assault rifle categories.
It's not evil.
It's not evil enough.
Yes.
But it's still pretty cool, because it's got all the functions of the bullpup, taking your full capacity magazines. It is chambered in what's the chamber on this guy? 6.5 Grendel.
Or 223.
Yeah.
Or 223.
Or 223. So the 223 is a 20-inch, but the 6.5 Grendel is a 24-inch. So it's kind of more of a sport hunting configuration, either of them, honestly. But the 6.5 will be more of a hit with the hunters' big game, because a lot of states don't let you shoot or hunt game with 223. What do you guys think about this?
I think it's awesome because it's Jersey legal. It only has two of the evil features, which is a muzzle device of some sort, looks like a flash hider, and it has a detachable magazine. Doesn't have a pistol grip, doesn't have a bayonet lug, so we won't have to do some stupid stuff like have the muzzle device actually either welded on or pinned on. So that's the cool part.
When it comes out, it may actually already be permanently attached, because you never know if they want to make it 50 state legal.
Yeah, they probably permanently attach it.
Yeah, who knows? Again, because most states, it's a number of features, I think.
Give California 6 months; they'll have it on their not allowed list.
Well, it probably has a shoulder thing that goes up. I don't even know what that is. I'm like, what was this guy talking about?
What I was going to... Oh,
I don't mean to sidetrack you here, but I got a question for you guys, because you guys are obviously way more into these rifles than I am. But I bought a Connecticut-compliant AR-15 the Monday before Sandy Hook hit. And had I known what was going to happen, I just figured Obama was going to do something stupid. So I went and bought one. But had I known what was going to happen, I would have bought every AR-15 they had on the wall, which was pretty good prices. But I defeated everything that made it Connecticut compliant in about 3 minutes, not knowing anything about AR-15.
They're not supposed to know that. You can't tell them that you can defeat those things. It's not supposed to be able to defeat those things.
It's not about you not being able to defeat it. It's about them looking as if they're doing something effective and inconveniencing gun owners or potential gun owners.
No,
I realize that.
Difficult. Yeah. Being in Jersey, it's the home of make it more difficult, and hopefully people won't even apply. And that's what these politicians do. It's really, really frustrating and makes you mad enough to spit because it's just so blatantly stupid. They make their little announcements that this makes it compliant and much more safe. Then why next year are you going to have a whole new set of rules? I thought you just made it safe with this set of rules. You're full of crap. And as you saw in California, how long do you think it'd take those terrorists to change that bullet button completely out and just shoot up the workplace and take on the cops? It's ridiculous.
But now back on the RDB-C or whatever we want to call it. I'm doing Ryan's job for him.
The California bullpup.
Yes. I actually am glad to see that companies like Kel-Tec are, designing stuff like this, because really they haven't come out with that many RDBs. I mean, the article on the Firearms blog says 200 have been released of the regular RDBs. They could sell the regular ones all day long and in 5 years come out with a California compliant one. But it's nice to see that they're actually coming out with this, it's still Kel-Tec, so it'll be 2 years before you can get it, but, as opposed to coming out with it in 5 years and then having to wait 2 years to get it. So I'm glad to see that they're doing this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
It's nice to see somebody doing something for the people of California, because every time you turn around, they're adding more and more guns to their can't sell here list. So
yeah, and I'm tired of them moving up here.
You think you are? You should see us in Idaho.
It's about the same.
Yeah. I wanted to close the gate after I came through, but no, they wouldn't allow that.
See, the problem we got here in North Carolina is we got all these daggum New Yorkers and Yankees that move down here and want us to do it their way and want to ban guns because that's what they're used to up there and that's what they think should happen.
Well, that's what the Californians do here. See, they just move north.
I think every place in America can complain about people from another state coming in and changing things for the worse. I think everyone can share that complaint.
No, I never complain when people from Idaho come here. Or Montana.
Look, because they make you feel bad about all the rights you've lost, and then they go back to Idaho.
Yeah.
Because they know what it's like to live in a free state.
Exactly. Yeah. What these people do is come from other states that they made into a socialist utopia, and they can't afford to live there anymore. So they scamper on the states where they can afford to live, and then try to make it what they just left.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm the anomaly, because I'm the only person that stands up and says, I moved here because I like the way it was. I don't want to change it.
There you go.
I mean, this is a cool gun. Now, I was looking at the picture of looks like a guy at SHOT Show holding it, and it looks like that muzzle brake, if it ain't pinned on there, it's pretty well part of the barrel. I mean, I'm not seeing where it's going to come off very easily. It almost looks like it is part of the barrel.
Yeah. Well, that could have been just a prototype for the SHOT Show. I mean,
Yeah, I
But
watched
it is
Tim on
good
the
that,
military.
that somebody's trying to get these nice guns to the poor fools in California.
Well, I saw Tim on the I mean, not Bear Arms Show. Tim on
Military.
the Military Arms channel, and he was firing it, but they didn't really do a lot of close-ups on this particular one. They just showed him firing it, but I didn't really notice the muzzle device. Did you,
No.
Ryan?
No,
Yeah, I
I
was
think that
trying to
was
check it
probably
out.
some intentional videography to make sure not too much of it is shown. It was kind of more of a teaser.
Yeah.
I did hear him ask, can you swap out, because say you had the old RDB, say you wanted to put the swap out the calibers for the 6.5 Grendel, like, are they, and the person from Keltec said that the C and the regular RDB furniture is swappable. You can't, because the way the barrel is pressed into the action, you can't change out the barrels for different calibers. But he said that the way that it's serialized, you could swap out the furniture and be just fine. As far as if you wanted a different caliber, you just take the receiver in the barrel and you put it in the stock that you want, and it retains the serial number that's on the stock. And he made a little snide comment like, I don't know how the ATF approved that. Because that's like, okay, I just shot 223, now I'm going to convert my rifle to a whole different caliber, and it's going to hold the same serial number that's on record.
What's the difference between swapping a barrel and swapping a magazine and a few other guts? You know, it's the same concept.
Yeah.
Remember, it's one of these. It's what the law says. It's not what's right or wrong. And the actual part that's the receiver is the part that receives the magazine.
Yeah.
Just like in our Patriot patch, the one that says endless possibilities, that little part of the AR-15 that's got the serialized number, that's the legal gun.
Yep.
So I think that part would be cool. But it's a Caltech, and you'll probably never be able to find one of those, or if you find one, they've got an RFB at my gun store, a used one, and I think they want like $1,700 for it.
Yeah.
I must admit that I've shot an RFB, and I kind of liked it, so...
Well, these are supposed to be, I think I heard them say the MSRPs are trying to be under all the other bullpups, definitely under the $1,900 Tavor price. So they're intentionally trying to price these out to be more easily available for people. If you see one in the wild, take a picture and buy a lottery ticket. That's all I gotta say.
Well, see, the problem with that is they make so few of them that when they hit a gun store, the gun stores take them and jack the prices up to hit that demand. But anyways.
Or the gun store doesn't jack the price up. The first guy that buys it then turns around and sells it for more.
Right,
That's exactly what I did with the Sub 2000, all two of them that I had. Boo! What? Who said that?
I've got a second-gen Sub 2000. It's a fun gun to shoot.
Yeah.
I won't trust my life with it, but it's a fun gun to shoot. And I love the threaded barrel because I can suppress it.
Yep. So we don't have any reviews this week. I did just finish up posting the Alien Gear holster one from last week's show. So now we're just going to move on to the Tech Gadget or app. This one's cool. This is called Gundelio. So you can download it on your phone, and it basically it can send you alerts based on where you are. If you walk into a store, it's kind of like a check-in thing where it'll say, "Hey, this is on sale." You can also just get exclusive deals right off there. Remington, Savage, Barnes Bullets, Federal. I even saw some suppressor manufacturers was on this app, which got me really excited. I think it was I think it might have been Gemtech. I'm loading up the app right now on my phone. It's kind of sponsored. It's got a podcast button, which got me really excited, but it's all gun talk.
Yeah.
So,
it's done by Tom Gresham.
Right. So it's kind of an exclusive partnership type deal, which, I mean, they couldn't have picked a worse, or they could have picked a worse podcast to join up with, because that's good quality content right there. So yeah, Barnes, Bushmaster, crossbreed holsters, Remington. Whenever you go to a store and you're not really sure if they have a rebate going on or not, and sometimes the person behind the counter might not even care to let you know there's a rebate. You can see all the rebates that Remington has right on the app. So I'm scrolling and see $100 back on Remington 1911 pistols, $100 cash back on 700 SPS rifles, $200 rebate on HTP ammo. I'll scroll past the Remington because I'm sure you guys are tired of it. Save $290 on the AAC Tyrant 45 suppressor.
Do what?
Through silencershop.com.
Hey,
Boom, right there.
I think my favorite one. I think my favorite one is from FN, and it says no one owns one. Haha.
Wait a minute. I resemble that. I resemble or resent that remark. I forget which one it is.
Both.
Because I own FN.
Hey, they have free rust proofing for your Kimblers. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's just an assumption. All the ones I've seen.
No, the free rust proofing is for your roofing nails.
Oh. Yeah, they have a lot of stuff on here.
Yeah.
I bought this. I downloaded this app, and I leave my location, the GPS on my phone on. I walked into my gun store, and all of a sudden the darn thing started chirping at me the first time I walked in, saying, "Here's the deals that you can apply for, or you can buy." It's like, holy crap.
Yep. And that's actually how I learned about this, is that Comtac asked me to make a series of ads for them so that when you walk into the NRA show and you've got this app on your phone, it'll pop up with a notification and it'll have my ad that I made on there that says, you know, at NRA show, save this much at the Comtac booth. I think they're 15% off for the duration of the show. And then they have a thing where if you spend $100, you get a free T-shirt. If you spend $150, you get a T-shirt and a hat. So I'm doing a series of those for them. That's how I learned about the app. So it's kind of cool, both as a consumer to find those rebates and deals, but also as a manufacturer, you could just, I don't know what they cost. I didn't ask Comtac what the fees were. But you basically get your stuff loaded up on here, and it's kind of a free advertisement tool. I'm certainly it's not free, but it's a alternate advertising tool.
It's free to us. I'm sure that Compaq is going to pay for it. I'm sure that Remington pays to have their stuff put on there.
I'm sure it's thousands and thousands of dollars. But
what you're saying is when people walk in a SHOT Show, if they've got this thing on their phone, their phones are going to go ballistic. They're going to go ballistic at the NRA show.
Pretty much.
So we get all sorts of chirps.
The one thing I have to complain about, because I listen to Tom Gresham's podcast, is that I can't download it from this app. You know what I mean? To listen to his podcast, you have to go to the website, and then you have to click. You have to open up 2 or 3 pages to get to the podcast to download it.
Yeah.
And I was hoping with this you could just click on podcast and download it from it, but you can't. I think you can listen to it live. And the other thing is I activated my GPS, and then I went out and came back in, and it laughed at me because I live in New Jersey. And then it got rid of half the deals. They were like, no, here's some accessories. Here's a belt from Crossbreed.
So it's also got events on here too. So I can see right now that the Atlanta USCCA Concealed Carry Expo is going on April 29th through May 1st. Just kind of scroll up, and I don't know if I can see that machine gun shoot on here or not, but it's basically got all the gun industry events all over the country loaded up in here. It's also got, you can connect it to your Facebook and your Twitter, I think. So basically, Gun Dealio is brought to you by Gun Talk Media, a multimedia company showcasing everything to do with firearms through television, radio, online, and mobile. Man, Jake, we missed the ball on this one. This would have been awesome for FRN.
Well, you can still do an FRN app.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? You think
I'll do it for $3 million. I'll make it for us.
If Ruger proves anything about the gun industry, you just take all the best ideas and slap your name on it and redo it.
That's what Cabela's does. That's how I learned it. That's a nice cooler, Yeti. Hey, did you look at our coolers? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Ruger went, hey, Yeti, that's a nice cooler. Watch this.
All right, so guys, check that out. You might find something interesting to do with that. And if it gets too annoying, just disable location services from it so you don't get constant beeps. I imagine if you have it running and you walk into NRA show next month, it's going to be constantly going off.
But you might want to pay attention to it because make sure there's show deals going on at the NRA show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you might want to pay attention to it.
Yeah, like I said, if you see the Comtac one though, you'll be like, oh yeah, Ryan made that one. I'm gonna go buy the Comtac booth right now.
Are you going to be there signing autographs?
No, I'll probably swing by and say hi to Randy. I think we're just going to walk around. So that's it for the Tech Edger app. I do have listener feedback to tell you guys, and it warms the cockles of my heart to see that there's 4...
Hey, family show.
I could say cockles.
Yo!
Cockles. Look it
What
up.
is a cockle?
It's a seafood.
For us Southerners that don't quite get this Yankee words.
It warms the internals of my heart to see so many reviews after I incentivize my listeners by saying I'll give them free stuff. All of a sudden, I get all these iTunes reviews. It's awesome. I really appreciate it, and that's not sarcastic at all, I swear. So we got 4, and what was the deal that I said? I'll randomly pick 3 people to win a Patriot Patch swag pack. So I'll keep an eye on it because I said it was good till the end of the month. So I'll see if there's any more, and then I'll have to randomly select 3. But of these 4, I just want to read them to you guys. For Matthew Dropko, said, I enjoy the easygoing nature of this show. The topics are informative and helps me, someone interested in firearms and gear associated with it. Further, the promotion of the shooting sports is great too. I always look forward to this show every week, even if I didn't post a review for it till today. The next one's from Larry Cunningham, said, great to hear reviews that are not paid for. They also review items that the budget-minded person can afford, as well as some higher-end items. The guys are great to listen to, and I look forward to listening to them. The third one I got, it's from Drop the Fear. And he said, just wanted to say I love the way you guys do the reviews. I am someone that is also into a broad range of products that either go with shooting or fall into these subcategories of the sport. Knives, scopes, tools, transport, etc. I think talking about such a broad range brings in more and more listeners and also shows that you don't have to be into one particular area to be involved. The other review, the fourth one, says, hats off to you guys. All of you do a great job of keeping us keeping us up to date on new and exciting goodies in the gun world while at the same time keeping us entertained. Thanks for the unbiased reviews as well. Keep up the great podcast. Can't wait each and every week for the new episode.
I got a question. Larry said it's great to hear reviews that are not paid for. You mean there's an option?
To get paid for reviews?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that existed. Someone out there is getting paid for what I'm doing for free? What the heck?
We're in the wrong market.
We're in the wrong business, man.
Dude,
right.
If I knew I could get paid for this, I could have a laser from my high point.
The only Crimson Trace on a high point.
Now, these reviews are on iTunes, right?
Yeah, they are.
What really is the bad part about it is I listen on my Android, and I'm not cool enough to own an iPhone, so there's really no way to post reviews from an Android device.
That's really between you and your God. That's not my problem.
Wow.
Dang.
You quit buying
right.
Tavors. You quit buying Tavors. You could own an iPhone.
Right? I got a Tavor and an iPhone 6, man. Get on my level. I eat ramen every day.
No, you see, I like to eat, and I like to eat good, and I'd like to eat often. So,
That's right.
No, I'm not going to get an iPhone. I'm not cool enough. I'll stay with the uncool crowd and have a steak dinner and drink a lot of beer.
I'm with Rob.
Hey, man, listen.
I am uncool.
I don't have cool money, so I own a Nokia flip phone.
No, really? I thought it was one of those big old brick phones.
It comes in a bag, actually. Mine's still in the bag with the cord.
It's Jersey legal.
Low capacity battery.
So that means now we got 50 reviews on iTunes and an average rating of 4.5 stars out of 5. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. It kind of lets me know that it's not just the 3 of us, or 4 or 5, 6 of us that listen to this thing. That there's actually people out there that actually listen to my podcast. It makes me want to improve each and every week. So I do really appreciate the feedback. It only took bribery to get you guys to do it. So I'm happy to distribute some of these patches also.
People would probably like it better if we picked on you more.
I feel like every episode that you guys harass me, the host, gets a higher rating. So why don't I just open the gates and just let you guys do that?
Because you don't want to have to. You don't want to have to edit that much.
Yeah, that is true.
You want me to contact Sean again so he can give a discount code that insults you?
Yeah, Ryan's foot or something about Ryan stepping on a nail is a discount code for, I don't know.
Black Bag Resources says discount code Ryan has gangrene.
No,
Ryan has tetanus.
I like Ryan's owie.
Ryan's owie?
Yeah.
How do you spell owie?
I don't know. O-W-I-E? I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's too problematic. All right, we'll get back to that. So, speaking of which, Mr. Chuckles, now it's time for you to tell everybody about the Second is for Everyone diversity shoots.
Second is for Everyone diversity shoot is coming up on June 9th, 6 p.m. It's going to be awesome. We got guest speakers coming in. If you follow Simon Says Train on Instagram or even, mostly Instagram, sometimes, and also Twitter on Second is for Everyone on Twitter. The numbers 2nd and 4. Anyway, I posted a lot of the stuff. I'm going to start posting the stuff that you can actually win at this particular shoot by buying raffle tickets. And I'm also posting a picture again of the knife you can bid on for the silent auction. So again, it's coming up. Well, I keep saying again, but it's coming up on June 9th. We're going to be at the Stone Mountain Machine Gun Shoot. I'm making a personal appearance as the token black guy for the Firearms Radio Network. Don't think I didn't notice that. So I'm going to be in PA Friday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday week. And we're going to have a good time.
Hey, man, you're our discount Hank Strange.
Hey, nothing's wrong with that. Hank's all right.
That's right. We can't get Hank, but we'll take you anyway.
He's busy touring factories. I'm busy working in a prison, and then I run out here and do this.
Yeah. Sweet. So that's the show. Send questions or comments to the new email address, gungearreview@gmail.com. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review for a chance to win a Patriot Patch swag pack at the end of the month. And check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv. And be sure to visit the Firearms Insider website for published reviews and industry coverage. So I will leave you guys with that. I kind of asked TJ to take over the next show, Gun Gear Review 131, because I'll be getting back. Even though I will be back from traveling, I don't think I'll be up for it. So I'm going to let him have the ropes. Already got the show notes ready for it. So guys, look forward to hearing TJ a lot more next week, unless he bails out on that. We'll see how it goes. We know we got Chad as backup, so I'm counting on you, buddy, to make sure it pulls through.
I'm already bailing. What the hell are you talking about?
He's got that thing he has to do.
Yeah.
Well, just imagine with me not there, you can say whatever you want about me, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah,
but that's no fun.
Man.
Yeah, what's the
right.
It's no fun.
Yeah, all right. Well, I will leave you guys with that. Have a good week. Shoot safe. If you're going to Pennsylvania this weekend, I will see you at the machine gun shoot. I'm hoping that I leave with just as many holes as I came with. And I will catch you guys in, I guess, the next couple on episode 132. You'll hear from me next.
See you guys.
See ya.
Later.
Yep.
See ya.